Yes. Today we'll see list. Before going to list, we'll see what is sequence. Sequence is a data type which is a collection of elements or datas. In why we use sequence? Sequence is used to process the elements, this group of elements. And to do this in sequence, there are many things like str, strings, lists, and strings, list, dictionaries, tuples. So these are things to do. These are useful to do indexing and slicing the list. So today we will see what is list. What is list? List is also a similar to array, which is a collection of elements or a group of elements. But list is some major difference between arrays and list is, in arrays we can use only single type of data or similar type of data, but in list we can use different types of data. So for example, we consider a student. So if a student takes some marks, say 59, 60, 80, 74, these are all integer type. So we can represent these values in arrays because all are of similar types, like 59, 60, 80, 74 all are integer types. So we can represent it in arrays. But students not only have marks, they also have roll number, name, comma, gender, comma, marks. So see here, roll number is of type, say roll number is 10, name is Sachin, gender is male, and marks is 59, 60, 80, 74. See here, 10 is of integer type, Sachin is of string type, gender male is M is character type, and 59 is of integer type. So here what happens? It is a collection of different types of data, integer, string, character, and integer. So we cannot represent this in arrays. We cannot represent this in array. So we need what? So we need list. Why we need list? Because list is a collection of different types of data. In arrays, we can only represent a similar type of data, either it can integer type or string type. All the data should be the same. But so we cannot use arrays to represent a different types of data. So represent a different types of data, we use list. We will see with an example. So to represent a different types of data, we use list. First we will see how to create a list. How to create a list. Creating a list. So to creating a list, syntax is list name is equal to square braces and elements, square brackets, in that elements separated by comma, and square bracket close. So here the syntax for this creating a list is list name is equal to square braces. In that we will write the elements which separated by comma. We will see one example. The same example. Let us say student is a list. Student is a list. We have to create a list of a student with roll number, name, gender and marks. See, first what we want? Roll number. Let us say roll number is 10. We have to separate it by comma. Next is name. Name is Sachin. Next separated by comma. Again gender is male, M, comma. Marks is 55, comma 60, comma 80, comma 74. And bracket close. Now our list is created. This is the syntax for creating a list. List name is equal to square bracket. Within that we have to write the elements which is separated by comma. So this is the example. Student. This student is a list name. And these are the elements of these students. What? 10, Sachin, M, 55, 60, 80 and 74. So this is one. If for example say list is equal to blank. List is equal to open bracket. Nothing is there in the list. So now also list is created. Now the empty list is created. Here the list is created but without the elements. So our general syntax is list name is equal to open bracket and close bracket. If there are elements more than one elements, then we have to separate it by comma. Understood? This is what? Creating the list. Okay, creating the list. So we will see how after creating the list, how we can index it and slicing the list. So see, now what? I am creating the list. Student is equal to 10, comma Sachin, comma male, comma 55, 64, 70, 71. This is my list. So print this list. What I have to do? Print student. What I have to do? First I have created the list with the name student and these are the elements. So I have to print these elements. So what I have to do? So just I have to print the list with this argument as name. List name. So what I have to do? Print student. So what it will do? Our output will be 10, comma Sachin, comma M, comma 55, comma 64, comma 70, comma 71. This is our output. So here what we here all the elements are printed because we have passed whole list here. So if we want only Sachin or male or 55, we can index it. So how to index? So how we can do it? Just here in a print statement we have to pass the index, that is print bracket. What is our list name? That is student. So student in bracket, square bracket, we have to write the index which element we want. So 10 is in 0th index, Sachin is in first index, M is in second index, so 55 is in third index, 64 is in fourth index, 70 is in fifth index, 71 is in sixth index. So if I want Sachin here, what I have to pass here? Student bracket 1. So it will return the second element in the list because first element is starts from 0, second element is index is 1. So whichever the element we want, that index we have to pass in the print statement with a list name. So print student of 1, it will return, output will return Sachin. Okay, if we want 55, that's the index of 55 is 3. So if we pass student of 3 here, our output will be 55. This is what we call as indexing. Getting the values from the list using the index is called indexing. Okay, next we will see how to slice the list. How to slice the list. See here, slicing means getting the part of the list, or dividing the list, or cutting the list into part. So how can we do? So first see here, in our list 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 elements are there. Okay, I want from 10 to 55, so only 4 elements I want. So what can I do now? Now I have to do first we have to print what I have to pass here. I have to pass list name, so that is student in square bracket. I have to mention the starting point. So from where I want? From 10. So our starting is 0 comma, where we want? Till 55. So our ending is 4, and after one element, next step is only 1. See, student 0 is our starting point, colon, next till how many elements I want? Till 4th element, that is 55. So 4 colon, and our step is 1. So in each iteration, next element should be get. So here see, I have taken 4 last element, because if I take, if 4 is the end point, so it will print up to n minus 1 elements. For example, I have taken here 4 end pointers, so it will print 1 2 3 third element, till here it will print. So if I want 55, I have to write here 5. So total 4 elements will be printed. So our end point will be always 1 more than what element we want. So our index we want till 3, our end point will be 5. Okay. Sorry, it's 4 only. Till 55 it is 4. If I take 4, it will print till 64. Okay, understood? This is slicing. If we slice it from 3 colon 6 colon 1, what happens now? Now it will return from, our output will be 55, sorry, not, yes, from 55 64 and 70, our output will be, because it will return from third index, that is from 55 till how much? Our end point is 6, so it will return till 70, one prior to the end point. So this is our output, how we can slice. This step is, if I take this step is 2, what happens here? If I take 55, it will leave this element, it will go to second. So now our element will be 70 and it will end here. Okay. This is how we slice the list. Next, we will see creating the list using range functions. Creating the list using range function. Creating the list using range function. Range function used to create a sequence of elements, or integers which can be stored in list. The syntax for the range function is range bracket start comma end or stop comma step size. Range bracket start comma stop comma step size. The start is a starting from the start position is always 0. If we don't mention anything, our start will be from 0. By default, the start will be 0. If we mention other elements than 0, then the 2 element will take up. If we don't mention any element, any starting integer, it will take it as 0. And stop is the one element of whatever the element we want, one more than that. So here what happens? 0 is one element prior to this stop. Here if we range is stop is, it will take, for example, our stop is 5, it will take till 4. One element prior to this stop. It will select the element, one element prior to this stop. If you take 6, fifth element is the last element. I will show you the example later. And step size is always 1. By default, the step size is 1. If we take more, it will change. By default, the step size always it is 1. So let us see one example. Range 0, 10, comma 0, comma 10, comma step size is 1. This will generate a sequence from like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. I have already told you. The stop is the element. If the stop is any element, it will take the number 1 prior to this index, this argument 10. 10. So we will print till 9. If it is 11, then we can print 10. So one number prior to that stop. Okay, and step size is 1. So difference is 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Understood? If C. If our step size is 2. Step size is 2. In every iteration, it will generate a range like 0. 1 will not print. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Because here step size is 0. First it will print 0. Again the step size will be 2. 1, 2. Next number will 2. Again step size is 2, 4. So it will difference will be always 2. if I take the step size as 3, then our output, it will generate a numbers from 0, 3, 6 and 9, because next number will be 12, which is out of range. Our last number is 10. The 10 will not come in this step size, so our last number will be 9. Okay, see, this range is an object. It will not print these numbers, it only create these numbers and store. If we want to print, we have to use it in a print statement. Print statement or with a list, not with print statement. With list we have to use this range. Then only we can print these numbers. Or we have to use this in a loop. Only if we use range, it will only generate the numbers and store. It will not print. For example, C. I have created the range 0, 11, 3 and I will say print range 0, 11, 3. What it will do? It will only print, output will be range bracket 0, 11, 3. It will not print the numbers because range is an object. If we want to print that, whatever the range created elements, range will create the sequence of elements. Only it will create and store. If we want to print that numbers, we have to use this range with a list, or we have to use that in a loop. We will see how we will use that. See, for I in range, four, 9, 2. So what happens now? Now every range, every element is stored in I. So we can print I. Now what happens? Our output will be, so this range will store, now this range will store, what is our first element? 4, second element is 5, but our step is 2. Next element 6, 8, this is our 3 element. So now our output will be what? This first output will be 4, next line 6, 8. This is our what? Our output. What? 6, 4, 6, 8. We have used range with the for loop. So if we want to print that range generated elements, we have to use it in a for loop or while loop or any loop with a list. I will see how to use with the list also. First we have to create one list. LST is our list name, is equal to list. List is a function to create a list. I am creating the list with the range 4, 9, 1. See what happens here. First list is created with the list function list. So what is the range? Now our list will be created. Our list is, what is our list now? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not 9, only 8. See, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because our starting position is 4 and stop is 9. So 1 prior to 9. That is 8. Till 8 we will print. And our step size is 1. So I have taken 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So see, here it is our list. Here created using the list function. So where it is stored? It is stored in LST. It is stored in LST. So if we print LST, what it will give output? Our output will be, it will print 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because list is printed here. What is our list? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How list is created? Using a range function. Okay. So range function is used to create the list, and we can print using that list. See, again we will take one more example. Okay, we will say another one variable, LST. LST is a variable name. So here what I will do? I will do is equal to range 4, 9, 2. So now the range will generate a numbers. What? The range will generate a numbers from 4, 6, 8. 3 numbers will be generated. So list will, LST is a variable name. It will hold 4, 6, 8. If I print LST, so what LST? LST will store, LST will only this generate range, but it will store what? LST is having now total range 4, 9, 2. So it will print, our output will be range 4, 9, 2. To print our this value, we have to create a list. For that, what we have to do? We have to create a list. So list is a function to create the list. So only if we store the range, then we cannot print the elements. It will only generate and keep it. It will not print the element. So if we want to print the elements by creating using a range, whatever we created using a range, we have to first create a list. Only list elements can be printed. So range element should be passed in a list 4, 9, 2. So what happens? Only we should pass, this list is a function, we should pass the range function within the list function. So it will create whatever the generated numbers, range generated numbers will be the list. If we don't create a list, it will only generate the numbers. Okay, but it will not as a list, only it will store as an object. If we want to access that range generated elements, we have to create in a list. Okay. Okay, I hope you understood this. First, what we did here, first how to create the list. How list is created? List is created with a variable name is equal to what? In flower braces, square braces, we have to write the elements separated by comma. That is the first one. And without, if we don't write any elements in the square bracket, then it will be considered as a what? Null list without any elements. First we created how to create a list, then we saw how to index the list or select the elements from the list using a index, and then we saw how to slice the list. Later, how we saw the range function, how range function works, and how the elements created by a range function can be accessed. To access the elements or numbers generated by a range function, we can access only using a loops or using a list function. Only range function, only using a range function we cannot access the elements. Okay.